told me, unless I pulled over 20,000 pounds, I would never notice it, but I noticed it. Camper weighs 11, so I noticed it pulling that camper. Okay, we're gonna call this meeting to order. Mr. McCaleb contacted me today and said he's out of town and not gonna be able to be here. I want to welcome everyone here tonight, and, I think you said Mr. Jones would be a little late, but he, Mr. Jones will be here, but, other than that, I reckon we're all here and we'll get this thing going. First thing on the agenda, I'd like to turn the, meeting over to Mr. Lewis, and he'd lead us in prayer.
We've got some prayer requests, if everybody would remember. Randy Glover and his family, his father, who was a remarkable man, passed away. Kim White and her family, her mother passed away, Gail Burns, Melinda Angel, Jude McCaleb, Dana Shoulders, Courtney Taylor, and is there anyone else that y'all can think of? All right, if you would bow with me, please. Father, we're grateful to you for yet another day that we can be on this earth to try to do things to help one another and make a difference in this world and try to represent ourselves in a way that would bring glory and honor to you. We'd ask that you would be with us tonight as we work through this budget and the things that we have on the agenda to do everything that would be pleasing in your sight. Father, please remember all of these people that we have named on prayer requests and those that we're not aware of. Thank you so much for giving my mother peace that we prayed for every month over here for a long time. Thank you for that. Please go with us throughout this meeting, lead, guide, and direct us in all things. Thank you so much for the gift of salvation and your Son, Jesus Christ. For it's in his name we only pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, first item on the agenda to set the pay for our board member appointed by the County Finance Committee for each meeting. I'm gonna open that up for discussion. I think Mr. Lewis needs to get paid by the school board, not by the county. Mr. Smith, that's just part of his turf, having to make these meetings, which I know he is a member of that finance committee, just like everybody else is. So I open up the discussion on pay for.
Mr. Chairman, I'd
Yes,
like
sir.
to make a motion.
Yes,
I'd like to make a motion that we pay Mr. Lewis or whoever's in that position the same as what the county commissioners make, which I believe is $50 a meeting,
per meeting.
per meeting.
Okay,
And any reimbursement that he's missed needs to be paid also.
well, someone had asked me also, been real discussion to maybe give him $100 a month, not per meeting, just $100 a month. And now if they didn't meet once a month, which wouldn't get paid, but also back it up to when he first come on to the finance department and back pay him for that. But I had been approached to also, like I say, to do it, give him $100 a month. So that's my 2 cents worth. Now, rest of it.
Well, I'm gonna back up here and go back to the $50. If 4 or 5 people sitting around that table is getting $50, why don't he just get $50 too? I mean, that's what everybody else is getting. If it's 2 meetings a month, they get $50 a meeting. If it's 4 a month, they get $200. If it's 1, they get $50. That way, everybody sitting around that table would get the same amount of money, and they wouldn't have no jealousy or something because somebody else is getting more money than doesn't. So, the way I see it.
What's fair is fair.
That's my opinion.
Well, someone. Yes, school board will be paying it. Yes, that's correct.
as long as I remain on it. Everybody needs to understand, this is just, I just happen to be the one that's landed on it. Could be somebody else here in a month or two, so
Yeah.
it's not Scotty, it's the board representative,
Yeah.
so I don't.
Whoever the person might be, so. Someone will give me a,
I made a motion.
I'll second his motion.
your second motion. Any more discussion on it? This will be money, so we'll, Mr. Apple? No,
Yes.
Yes.
yes, you abstain.
I abstain.
So we've got one no, 1, 2, 3.
Won't pass.
Pass.
Gotta have 5 votes.
Yep.
Won't we table this to the later on, Mr. Jones will be here, we can vote again.
Okay. You want, all right, we'll table it till Mr.
To the end of
Jones,
the meeting.
Yeah. Until Mr. Jones is here. Whatever.
Jones gets here, and we'll vote on it again. Discussion of which you all know, that our lawyer, Mr. Winkler, has resigned, and we're gonna have to have a new legal representation for the Smith County Board of Education. I'm gonna open that up for discussion.
Well, I'd like to, if, Mr. Chairman, if you would recognize me a moment. We have a candidate that I'm aware of, correct me if I'm wrong,
Yes, sir.
all right? And that individual is with us here tonight, Robin Moore, who also served on this board for quite some time, so she's been practicing law here for a number of years. She had quite a bit of time with the school board, which gives her some unique insight, I think. So to get this into discussion, if there is any, I'm gonna make a motion.
Well, no, we're still under discussion
Okay.
right at the moment.
All right,
Wait,
well-
okay, then I'll let you.
That'd be fine.
Okay.
That'd be fine.
And I've got something, you know, I've spoken with Ms. Moore. Ms. Moore's well qualified. She does you know, she's well qualified, but my only issue is I think we need to open it up for an application process, because there may be other lawyers that doesn't even know this opportunity is available. So, with Ms. Moore could be a great asset to us. I do think we need to open it up for other people. Because like I said, there's other lawyers in this town that don't even know this opportunity is available.
They should know that. I guarantee they lawyers in here know. She's been on this board for 8 years.
I understand, and she may do a great job, and I'm not saying anything about that. And, but, I think we need to, open it up for a, interview process, or at least give it, to the next meeting and see if anybody else is, interested into it.
Can I ask a question about that?
Yes, sir.
Not in rebuttal or anything, but we're just gonna kind of ride with our shirt tail out and no legal representation in the meantime?
Yeah, 'cause I'm looking around right now, we don't have one sitting here now.
No, we do not.
I agree,
I'm not comfortable with that.
but I'm not
Anybody else can speak.
I'm not gonna rush to a decision either.
When I was contacted today, I will not give no names at all, but I was contacted by 3 different board members today. And, they're not comfortable with hiring Ms. Moore right now. Like I say,
And
I
I'm
told
going
them,
to, I'm one, and it's not that I don't want Ms. Moore to get the job. I don't want to rush into that decision today. I feel like we need to open it up for, anybody else that may want that job. And like I said, Ms. Moore, you may be the perfect person for this job. And if you are, I hope you get it. But I think we need to open it up and not rush to a judgment.
When did Mr. Winkler resign? Because he didn't resign yesterday. I didn't know he was rushing into anything.
I didn't know today for sure what day. He told me he'd still be available, because we talked about if Miss Moore was one we went with, he was doing orientation. But I even thought he'd be here tonight. I'm not saying that he lied to me, I just was under the impression he'd be here through June.
Well, our next board meeting's next Tuesday night, ain't it?
Is that posted long enough that could you post it, I assume for that length of time and go ahead and make a decision?
Maybe if we put it on our website, it could, 7 days
Put it
or
on
so.
Tomorrow, tonight, so.
yes, it needs to be taken, I mean, we don't have any kind of representation right now. And, it looks to me like, I mean, that would give us a week and one day to, that would be out there posted. And, if anybody was interested or not, and then hopefully next Tuesday night, the full board would be here and everybody vote the way they feel, because I don't like getting up here and saying, that I had three that was not comfortable with Ms. Moore, but I'd like them to be here and express their own opinions on how they felt, so.
That would, and then we could, if, I don't think there'll be a lot of applications, but there may be 100, but that way we could still schedule early that, say, starting at 4 o'clock or something. We could.
As long as we give opportunity to other people, I believe we'll be fine. And like I said, Ms. Moore may be the most qualified person, and I hope she is. So I just don't feel like we need to rush into something.
Gonna table this until next Tuesday night, or anybody interested in putting an application?
So we would have to have a motion, I think, if that's in a second to post it, or a motion and second to hire Ms. Moore. I mean,
Make a motion to postpone till next Tuesday.
I think you gotta go, who made the first motion?
Nobody's
He had
made a
made a
motion
motion,
yet.
because we was under discussion,
Okay, all
but
right.
I'm gonna give Mr. Lewis the floor
I
now.
think, Brady, you'd have to have a second, and then it'd be tabled then.
I'm lost as to where we are now.
Okay. Mr. Glover has made a motion to table it till next Tuesday night. You also said that you was gonna make a motion to go ahead and hire her, is that correct?
I was,
Yeah.
yes, sir.
Well, would, it be okay for you to table this till next Tuesday night? Hopefully that we'll have the whole commission here, the whole, board here to, vote on this, would that be?
Well, I mean, I don't want to, no other attorney has contacted me about anything. So I don't want to, eliminate anybody that might have an interest. However, I want to go on record and remind everybody that we do not have legal representation. So we have a problem tomorrow. I don't want to hear it. I mean, we'll be in trouble. Mr. Director, have you been contacted by anybody else?
But we still have Mr. Winkler's available. He ain't banned it.
He said he would, I've talked to him today. He
Mr.
said-
Winkler told me he was done.
He said he would still be available. He said he still had some open files and ongoing. He said he'd be there as needed, but the job that forced him out of this, basically, that was forcing him to make a decision. They want him to go to work immediately, be on call for them basically full time.
All I can tell y'all is when I contacted him, he told me he would not be here because he was done when he resigned that night. That's all I can say.
I've had no contact with him, so I don't know myself. I have none. I've not had any contact with him, so. We have a motion to table this to next Tuesday night. Do I have a second on it?
I'll second it.
Second it? Okay. Have a motion and a second. Any more discussion about it? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
How many have I got here? I know 1, 2, 3. David? No. Mr. Lewis?
No?
3 yeses, 2 noes. And I will vote yes. So we still don't have we'll have to wait on that until Mr. Jones gets here, because that's again, we've not got enough people not enough to do anything, so. We'll just table that one till Mr. Jones gets here. Let's go now, item 3, budget discussions. That's what this was brought here for. Let's discuss this. I'm ready to discuss it, Mr. Smith, Mr. Lewis, Mr. Glover, whoever wants to start talking about it, let's get on with it.
Can I go first?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. This, of course, we obviously, this was done, by law, had to be done within 10 days. And 10 business days. I think most of you, maybe some knew, some didn't, the commission rejected the budget. It was the budget that this board asked us to put together. And Norma, where's Norma at? And I guess you'll talk more about that as to the best of your ability. There's some things before we start I want to make real clear. I think there's a propaganda or misperception out there. The board does not need to raise taxes. The board's in fantastic shape. It's got historical high. I don't think ever in the history of Smith County we've got the fund balance we've got. I don't foresee that ever being in any trouble for the near future. We've not asked for anything in nearly 20 years. I don't think that's a bad thing. I think that's a good thing. I take a lot of pride in not asking, and hopefully we won't ever have to ask for nothing. I don't plan on it for while I'm here. Yeah, it could always be a catastrophe, but I don't, we're in great shape financially. I don't see anybody could ever question the management of what we've done, what this board's done financially. And that's why I think I caution you from taking a lot of advice from outside, from people that don't know or have the capability of understanding the budget. You need to take the advice from people that understand how it works. This is part of our 5-year plan. It has been the whole time. I've heard all week we padded or whatever. The padding thing, if that's the case, if you're just gonna take out anybody that has money, that don't put extra money in their line items, don't understand the budget, you don't try to go to the exact penny. You try to create, a lot of budgets say 10%, 15%, 20% in case you have, and it would be wrong to ask for money that you knew you wasn't gonna spend, okay? If you ask somebody for money, knowing it's coming out of taxpayers, knowing it's coming from the government on a reimbursement, that would be wrong. But it's your money already, it's the county's money, but it's designated for the school system. You're not asking the county, you're not asking the county commission, you're not asking taxpayers for anything. Let me give you 2 examples. You know, if I budgeted $500 a month for my electric bill, and it only come in at $350, $150, I didn't cheat nobody out of it. It was my money to start with. Now, if I was on the program asking for a reimbursement, it'd be wrong. That's not, if you take out anything, it won't change expenditures whatsoever. We're gonna spend the same money we're gonna spend. The only thing you're gonna do is put a lot of heat on Norman and have to go back over there and ask for amendments. So, but now I'm gonna tell you how you can, if that's what you want to trim, I'm gonna show you the areas you can trim. Tommy, you made a good example to me in a conversation we had. You know, it wasn't hidden, but it is what it's gonna cost. If you go with benefits for the non-certified people, you're talking about 1.6 million. Okay, we know those won't kick in, we don't know the exact date. That would be for the entire year, okay? We know normally it'll kick in somewhere between October and January. So you could take 400,000, 600,000 off of that. It's not, you're trying to hide it. That's the realistic number that's gonna cost next year, okay? But again, that would be wrong if we were asking the county to pay for that and hiding that 400,000. We're not. It's just money we go back into our fund balance. Again, none of that's gonna trim anything off the expenditures. It's just a rock throwing contest otherwise, okay? Again, you're just gonna cause Norma a lot more paperwork to go over and ask permission to spend your own money. Basically, what it's gonna come down to. And that, you know, that's what I felt like this is going. How many times you hear, we ain't gonna tell you how to spend your money. That's all I heard. We ain't gonna tell you how to spend your money. Well, they done are. So, we're sitting on, I don't know, 8 or 10 times what everybody else in the county's got in fund balance. That's why we don't need help. I take pride in not needing help. You guys have done a good job management-wise. There's 4 ways you can actually save money. That's not one of them. If you can either cut or stop the building projects where they're at, which is going to eliminate TISA funding on the buildings. But that's in capital outlay. What we got in our normal this time too? How much? $650. You can cut that. You could stop stop teacher raises, staff raises, or you could cut teacher staff raises, 5, whatever. You could stop the benefits, obviously, the 1.6 benefits for non-employed or non-certified. You could cut the fielding and the lighting projects. Now, those are actual cuts. Those are the only thing different. Those are things different, and every 8 or 10 budgets I've done since I've been here, those are the only things different, and I just named them. Those are things that are truly cuttable if you want to cut them. Anything else is not a budget cut. All it is just, like I told you, just throwing rocks, so you can throw it spots. Because we're gonna spend what we're gonna spend. Because we obviously do a good job with that, and it's very scrupulous how we spend our money. And I wish I spent my own money like we spend school systems, but I don't. But other than that, you're just gonna go back and ask her to change it back in another box. But again, I wanna make it very clear, the propaganda and the misleading, we're not asking for a tax increase. So, anybody got any questions for me at this point? Tommy, did I answer yours?
Yes, you did. But I'll say right now, we're not gonna cut the capital outlay, especially out of these wellness centers. Because people don't understand that $3.6 million worth of extra money on these wellness centers. And if we gotta put in $650,000 to finish it, come on, guys.
Maybe, we hope we don't. We're real close.
You do the math on that. You got two big mega buildings sitting here for $650,000, and we ain't gonna cut that. No.
But that would be an option. That's one, we're just telling you, anything we put over the past. And then, and I think, Norman, you'll get more into that. What'd you tell me, you got about $500,000 in teacher count line? I hired 3 teachers, I think, last week or week before, just based on the numbers where we know we got a split, when they get to a certain split number, that's when you can't be dead on the number on that. We don't know what's gonna walk in the door. And we get reimbursed on T's of that too, so we don't, that's not what it appears, you know what I mean? You get part of that on reimbursement.
We're not doing anything different than we've done for the past 8 to 10 years.
There's an increase, and she can tell you the increase, she puts a little bit each year in. But again, it's money that's sitting there that we've not asked anybody for. That's ridiculous. That's not gonna cut expenditures, that's just gonna look better on the sheet. If you not have the capability to understand the budget.
I make a motion, Chairman.
We're still under discussion
we
right
got-
now.
yeah.
Let's hold off.
Then
But
Norma's
you
gonna
can.
go,
Yeah.
Norma's gonna go in depth, in case there's any
Yeah.
questions, okay?
Yeah, I mean, we're not talking out of turn here. I guess we're just talking roundabout, and you're talking about what you're not willing to get. I am not gonna vote to cut this insurance. We have never had the ability to pay it. We violated federal law, which is why we've had a finding every year for not paying it. Now we have the ability to pay it, and I'm not in the habit of violating federal law, so that is off the table as far as I'm concerned. I'm not gonna violate federal law knowingly and willingly, not gonna do it. I mean, I do have some other questions in here, but
So which one that's got you the benefits?
the insurance for all the employees, I am absolutely not going
Traded
to.
off in the past, we have took a finding for that, okay? That's a federal finding, because it's costing $35,000, I think it was almost 70 this year, with 69 something.
Threw money out the window.
And that was what we traded off, 1.6 for the city.
But I don't wanna, I
59,
mean,
I think it's 59.
I think it's 69. wasn't it?
Six-
Yeah, I think it went up, I think.
I don't wanna take over nothing, and certainly, they
No,
kinda
you
like,
go right ahead.
the,
We're all discussing all this.
yeah, kinda like, I wasn't here this last meeting because my mom passed
Well,
away,
she's gonna
so,
go through it too, and you can stop if it's certain spots, if you wanna do it that way, and then.
I mean, well, and that's fine, but I wanna understand and then we'll go through it, because I'd like to, I wanna understand, and I want, we've got county commissioners here, we've got the public watching, we've got everybody else, I want everybody to be on the same page. But from what I'm seeing right now, estimated budget, expenditures through the end of May, Ms. Norman, you correct me because you're a lot smarter than I am. you're looking at what, is it 20,385,000? Is that right? I'm on page 12. 12. I got the page 12 you sent me. That's the only one I've got. Well, I've got another one over here. I don't know where there's more than one or
Yes, right there.
20,385,788 through the end of May. Is that correct?
Right here.
Oh, you're on the budget.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I was looking at the expenditure.
I was not here when y'all did the budget,
I was looking
so,
at another report.
yeah,
Okay.
it's all right.
So, that was sometime in May, yes, the expenditures at that point were $20 million. But I have something much better for us to look at tonight. So each board member has a statement of expenditure. So this will get us through June 6th.
Through June the 6th, what's our actual expenditures?
So I'll show you, so if you'll get here, I can't call it all off without looking. So, if you'll, it says, Smith County Board of Education Statement of Expenditures and Income Receipts. And if you go to the very, end, page 39, one thing I do want to make clear is when you look at the 24 budget, the 12% raise was not in the 24 budget. The budget was passed in April, I do believe, or May, and there was an approximate 4% raise in the budget at that time. And then the board came back in July, once we got TISA funding's final amount, and passed the 12% raise. So when you look at the FY24 budget, the complete picture is not there because the amendments that the board passed, this last month hasn't been taken to the county commission yet. So the county commission actually canceled their steering committee meeting this month, and I'll be taking those amendments on the 24th at the normal commission meeting. So the misunderstanding is, you can't just take what we had for the FY24 budget and add 10%, because there was actually 8% for this year, plus another 10% for 25.
All right, so if I'm following you, we ran half a year on 4%, half a year on 12%, basically, and that's skewing, when we say we're giving 10% across the board, it's skewing that proposed because it's carrying over part of that 12% in there. Is that right? Kind of? Why don't you explain it?
So, we have been paying 12% from the time the board passed the budget. It's just that line item was under me knowing that there was money to move to make amendments before the year was over. So if you go to the end of this statement of expenditures and income
I
receipts.
think too, on the part, you told me to interrupt you at anything, okay? I think part of the misunderstanding too, Scotty, is that 12%, let's just say it was $10,000, it would have been 11,200 or 1,200. And then the 10% this year is based off of the 12, not the 10. Does that make sense?
A little bit, I guess what I'm just, to cut to the heart of it, and then we'll go through it and everything. I'm just trying to understand how we went from 20,385,000 to 40,960,000.
Okay, so if you'll go to page 39, the last page of statement of expenditures and income receipts, this report is ran June the 6th, so today is what, the 10th? So it's already a little different today, but as of June the 6th, we had spent, if you take the $26,364,300, add the encumbrance of $564,220, you're right at $27 million. We still have payroll to go out in July and August. That will take another approximately $4 million. So our 10-month
Is that $4 million a
teachers-
month or $4 million?
No, total.
Okay.
So about approximately, salaries and benefits, that's approximate, to about $2 million a month. So if you add that, you are up to almost $31 million.
31.
Yes, so that's the misunderstanding that we have across the public and across the county commission, is that, TISA did provide us with approximately $4 million last year. And that was put into the budget, but it wasn't necessarily put into the line items of salaries because you didn't tell me to do that before the budget was prepared.
No,
So
I understand.
There is a misunderstanding. Are there any other questions on that? You know, our budget that we turned into county commission last year showed us going into fund balance for FY '24 approximately $2 million. But best of my calculations, I'm gonna show you the summary financial statement in a minute. We're gonna be coming in $600,000 to $900,000 to the good this year if nothing happens in the next 3 weeks. And if the sales tax the county proposed to us does fully come in. So, you know, we are coming in, once again, we proposed a $2 million hit to fund balance, but instead we're gonna be coming in, hopefully, to the good of $600,000 to $800,000, maybe a little bit more. I can't guarantee that.
No, I understand.
So I have all kinds of information here, I can go through, we can spend, I promise, hours on this, and I don't know really how to start. But before I do, does any other board member have a question like that I
And
can
if
get
you
over with?
got any questions, stop her and ask her as she goes. I mean, this, she started one, and once you had stuff that we already had questions been asked. And if anybody's got any questions throughout, just stop and ask.
Well, let's make sure we all understand this. For this year, right now, it looks like we're gonna finish up expenditures of about $31 million.
Double check it,
That's what we just talked about.
Yep.
About
Y'all
30,
had it, yes, approximately. And again,
We'll
we're
just
still
round
have
up.
numbers coming in and.
if nothing big happens in the next 3 weeks, so
We
31
still have
million.
summer school expenditures also, which the county doesn't understand. Those expenditures will be paid out probably the last day of June, and we hope to get full reimbursement for that. In the past, we have from the state, but that depends upon the socioeconomic status of the kids that are attending. So if for some reason the state didn't fully fund us for summer school, that would cost us some more money there, but it's mandated. We have to provide the summer school, and we just hope that every year we get full reimbursement on that. So we still have some expenditures, but it should balance out. You know, the reimbursement that we get coming in should balance out.
And you're going to go over this year's budget about where we thought we would be running around 32 million this year? What did we, last year at this time, what did we suggest, 30? Okay, I just want to make sure we're clear on that too.
Yeah,
Because I'm like Scotty, and I'm going with this, guys, because I've heard the 20 million versus 40 million, and I've told everybody this is not true, guys. We did not run this school system on a $20 million budget this year. It didn't happen. Because I'm pretty sure we was at 31 or 32 million. So I'm gonna make sure I'm setting my facts right.
The county gets to stop their salaries and expenditures and payroll the month of June. But we put out a payroll the month of June, the month of July, and the month of August, still on FY '24. So that's why, does every single employee get paid during those months? No. I can go into more details later, but the majority of our employees, our 10-month teachers are paid like that, the majority of employees.
Okay, I just wanna make sure that was clear there. 'Cause
All adding up.
I've heard this,
If you know.
actually, from a county
happening
commissioner
here,
today.
it's all adding up.
Okay.
So let's go to summary financial statement. You know, where are we? So let's go here. You have a 2-page report somewhere on your desk. That is the summary financial statement. And this was ran today.
And you're on page number,
And there's only 2 pages, so I'm gonna start on page 1. It's called the summary financial statement. And this is for 141. We're talking about the general purpose fund more than anything else. So if you go down to local option sales tax 40210, the budget was 2.8 million, and right now we have received 2.3 million. So how much more do we expect to come in on sales tax? About $500,000, right? So maybe write that down besides sales tax. We're looking hopefully to getting $500,000 more from the county on sales tax. The other big one is TISA, Tennessee Investment and Student, go down to 46510. The budget was 22.7 million. Y'all see that, yes? $22,714,327. Look to the right of it, how much have we received as of today? $20,900,000. $20,926,630. The difference there is about $1.8 million. So if you add 1.8 and a half a million, unless my math is wrong, that's about $2.3 million, right? Now, there are some other revenues in here that we will get a little more on, but those are the two big ones. All right, go to the second page at the top where your revenue is listed. So the revenue, estimate for '24 was $31.4 million. You see the first column, it's bold. The actual that we received up to this point is $29,290,860. And if you add the $2.3 million to that, we're right at $31,590,000. So there is revenue approximately for FY24, the year we are on. There will be a little more, but I want to go through every line item and add up 1,000 here, 200 there, and 3,000 here. That's the majority of what's happening.
And this is a rough draft, so you found a couple of small things that was very on
Well,
the
that's the
salary.
budget, so yeah, we'll get to that in a minute. And then the expenditures are underneath, page 2, if you look down through there, so there's that total, Mr. Lewis, again. $26.9 million. And if we add another $4 million approximately for salaries and benefits for the next 2 months for the majority of our personnel, you're right at $31 million. So it doesn't take a lot of math to know if you receive 31.5 and you're spending right at 31, that we're at least $500,000 as of today to the good. That's approximating.
And that's just the big money, the
That's big
big
money.
money. That ain't the little
We still
money.
have summer school, we still have indirect costs, we still have, yes, there's still 20,000 here, 30,000 there, coming in. This is just looking eyeballing. What's the easiest way for me to show are we in the hole, are we to the good? Have we spent the $2 million in fund balance that was projected in the budget? And the answer, unless something happens between now and the end of June, or we don't get the full sales tax revenue, I'll lock it. Any questions on the summary? So this is where we are as of today, Mr. Lewis.
I'm with you. I just still have questions.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Now, do you want to ask questions about this before I go into the budget, or?
No,
anybody
you can go
have
right ahead.
questions?
You can go ahead
This
into
is
the,
approximate. We have to go through each line item to make it exact.
and I mean, pardon me, I'm not questioning anything you say. I have great confidence in you, and I hate to be the only one sitting here asking questions. But again, I was not here at the last meeting, and looking at the budget that was given me, it just looks kind of skewed, so I'm lost. So pardon me for that. I'm not questioning your expertise.
And I want you and the public and the county commission to understand, I didn't just put numbers down like someone mentioned in the last, finance meeting or county commission meeting. I probably have 40+ hours between talking to supervisors, working with our state representatives, and planning this budget. Every single line item was purposefully calculated and put into this budget. And then one more thing I want everyone to know, is the public, the county commissioners, everyone, you have your teacher salary chart. So before we get into the budget, each one of you have a teacher salary chart. So Mr. Glover, if you have a bachelor degree, 0 years experience, down in the bottom left corner, what is the beginning teacher pay as of right now, FY24?
Bachelor beginning, starting out 40, with zero,
Yep, 0 experience.
46,144.
Okay, so a teacher might make $46,144 that we hire in August that we don't know we're hiring yet. Okay, Joe, will you go to me and tell me if they have a doctorate and they have 25 years experience? Top right corner, what it is they might can make?
$70,799.
And can any commissioner tell me the next teacher that we hire, exactly what your experience or education they will have? I can't either. So unlike the county elected officials, whose pay pay does not get determined by their education or their experience. It's already said. We are always moving variably with the number of students that we have and with the staff that we're hiring. Now, I would rather have a teacher that has 25 years experience with a doctoral teaching my kids. But you all can decide how you want to cut the budget. So there is.
When do you normally get the steps from the, it's like September?
Say that again.
Before we get to the actual, we've gotta pay,
Usually
It's
it comes out,
It's well after the budget,
end of June,
though.
first of July, the minimum teacher salary, yes.
and it's not, that's not any county's fault, that's not any commissioners or board or anybody, it's just inefficient the way the state sends it to us.
Can I ask a question? This chart that we have here, is that anybody who's on a 10-month contract, 11-month, or 12-month?
Good question. This is a 10-month employee salary chart. So if you have an administrator, a principal, they do not just get paid 10 months because they work 12 months. So your administrators are either on 11 or 12 months. Should they make more than a person that's working 10 months?
We also have teachers in summer school.
Yes. And also, you have teachers that drive a bus that get paid extra. Instead of hiring a full funded position to do a job, Mr. Smith might give, someone a supplement to do that job and get by with $3,000 supplement and not have to hire another $16,000 person. So there's a whole lot going on here. You can't just take last year's budget and multiply it by 10%. Oh my gosh, my life would be easy if you could do that. And then the last thing I wanna say before I start in here, step raises. So if you look at a bachelor teacher at 9 years, they would make $50,782. But if they're at 25 years, they're making $54,989. Step raises. Every single year, I calculate 1% in the budget for step raises. Is that exact? No. So if you tell me to calculate a 10% raise, I calculate 11. Because every year that teacher is making more money, whether you give a raise or not, until they get to 25 years.
So if we have a 8th grade science teacher position come open, and we have 2 people who's applying for that position. One has a bachelor with 0 degrees, fresh out of college.
$46,144.
The second person that's applying for the same position has 13 years' experience from Wilson County and a master's plus.
Okay, a master's plus, well, my eyes are not wanting to focus.
13 years, master's plus.
59,872.
So how do you budget for that big discrepancy? Let's say we don't want that. I mean, not saying we don't want that person who's fresh out of college, but we'd much rather have that experienced teacher. How do you budget for that?
Well, I'll show you. Can I show you?
Yes.
All right, let's go to statement of expenditures. I'm gonna do a couple of these with you. And then again, I'll let you all tell me where to go. So the statement of expenditures is 39 pages long. And at the top of it is the statement of expenditures and the numbers. The first line item, teachers, 71100, 116. Y'all have a ruler too. So if you need to line up that ruler across through there, so your eyes don't cross over on the numbers, you can. So let's look at the budget for a minute. So the original budget for FY '24 was $8,894,000. Y'all see that in the first column? I sent amendments through last night to the Board of Ed. The number that's under that was the amendments, $449,268. If you don't know what I'm talking about, let me know. So the new proposed budget now is $9,343,268 to get us through this year.
Okay.
So can you take the number in the first column and add 10% and give the new budget for FY '25? No. It's that simple.
And do we have an approximate number of how many new teachers we've had or positions that we've hired this year?
I heard 2 or 3 last week, just off.
Just last week?
Yeah, and then we lost 2 good teachers that we had hired from another county because we had assuming we was gonna get the 10% raise, and they pulled out of us. We had a really good math teacher. These teachers are moved for $1,500. I mean, it makes a difference in their retirement.
Yes.
We lost 2 good teachers because of this already.
So the next column, year-to-date expenditures, is what we have spent through the report run, which was June the 6th. Now, you still have July, and you still have August for this line item. So I wanna show you what I did back in April, but back then I had to multiply out May, June, July, and August. I had 4 months to multiply out. So with your calculators, go to the last column. This month, we spent $779,086 on that line item. Top in $780,000 times 2. You might can do that in your head. So how much more will it cost us in this line item to get us through for the rest of the year? One of you answer, please.
1.56.
Yeah, 1.56 million. Now, if you add that back to your year-to-date expenditures, which was 7.672, so take 1.560 million, add it back, and I'm just gonna do this one, I wanna show you all how this operates, and let the county commission know also. 7.6, these small calculators are terrible, but do the best you can. 4.46. Somebody tell me where you are. Well, if you had 7, 6, and 1.5, you should be closer to a $9 million number.
9 million,
So we got it.
2.3, 9.2, 9 million to $232,000.
Okay, he's got $9,232,000. Agree? And the teacher's coming out of me. I'm gonna have to call on some of y'all if you don't answer. But we've got $70,000 coming out for summer school at the end of June, June 30th. Who knew that? So add $70,000 to that.
9.3.
Okay, so look at where the budget ended. So he says 9.3, so I say the budget to get us through for the rest of the year is $9,343,268. Multiply that by 1.11, and I'll tell you what, 1.11. That is with a 10% raise and 1% for step raises. And you have the new budget number.
10,325,000.
Okay, so $10,325,000, let's go to the budget and look. You guys have your budgets, let's go look and see what I put in. And again, I want to do one line, we can do every single line of the budget like this, if y'all want me to. So go to your budget, let's look and see what I put in. FY25. So we need $10,325,715, what I had calculated, we're very close. And I proposed in the budget $10,930,000. That is $604,000 more than what is needed. Mr. Smith has already hired 3 teachers since the budget was proposed. You need to calculate about $60,000 per teacher. So $180,000 of that is already gone. If you all can tell me how many teachers we will need in August when the students enroll, all that's enrolled so far is pre-K and K. I will fix this to exactly where it needs to be. But I don't know. I'll be honest. There's always been about $500,000 in this line item. I've been here 6 years, this coming up 7th year. There's always been that kind of money in this line item. The good news is, if we spend more on teachers because there's need, TISA should turn around and send us more revenue. But I can't predict that either. So there is how the budget is calculated.
Can we shift gears?
Yes, absolutely.
All right. First of all, again, as far as your expertise goes, I mean, you should know by now because I compliment you every meeting you're here. I do have great confidence in
Well, I
your
appreciate that,
expertise.
Mr. Lewis, but that's not how it's been presented, so.
Well, I don't know. Have I done something to make you
No,
feel?
you have not.
Okay. So here's where I think that if we could discuss this, because, looking at, I told you I couldn't find the budget after Mother passed away, and you emailed me one, so I was looking at that. And I think that this is where, what you've just explained is where some of the confusion is coming in. So if I could just, and again, there's a lot of board members here and nobody's talking, so I hate to keep going on and on and on. But I think this, what you've just explained is what the confusion is on the county commission side. And I'm going to give you just an example. All right, so if I'm looking at page 4 of this budget that you sent me, and it's item 27110, and it says attendance supervisor director.
Okay?
All right. I think here's where the confusion comes. Estimated through May 24th, of course, we know it's going to be more than that. We estimated 46,019, correct?
That is what had actually been spent through that day.
Okay.
I have to look back and see if payroll had been taken out on that date or not. We still have May, June, July, and August.
I understand. I'm just quoting what it says at the top.
Yes, that's exactly what had been
All right.
spent that day.
So I think that the confusion in the way that you've just explained it, and with a chart of a bachelor's degree, master's degree, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. When we hand someone this, and then we say we're gonna give a 10% raise, and then we've proposed $80,000 where, we're at 46,019, I think that what is in the mind of people out there is, well, that should be 4,600. You see what I'm saying?
County budget is the same way, presented the same way, so I don't see where the confusion is.
Well, I'm just reiterating questions that have been placed to me. So that may be some of it, if that helps clarify
We would have to
anything.
go back to the expenditures and calculate it out.
I understand.
Exactly.
I understand, but you see that, the repetition of that through this, and I think that may be what has created inadvertently or whatever, the confusion in that. Like there's some things I don't understand, and I was just glancing through this, and again, I'm just talking about what I don't understand, but like, 72710 bus drivers. I don't, how in the world did we get from 400 something, $1,000 to 600 and something $1,000?
Where are you on bus drivers?
72710.
Yeah, but you gotta remember the board last year voted to increase the more experienced bus drivers. So it was 12% last year for certified employees. It was $1 an hour for non-certified employees. And for bus drivers, we went from $85 to $100 a day on the top end. And on the bottom end, it was like $66 to,
And
It's
the
about
12%,
$15 a
and
day.
the 12% was on top of that, correct?
no, it was about, no, it
Oh,
was
it's
about,
just
it was
straight.
about
Okay.
$15 a day. So if you take 15 times, I think they work 181 days, that was $2,700 that each employee earned extra in FY '24. Yes.
And
We
I'm
would
sure,
have to go back to the expenditures and calculate it just like we did that first
and
line item.
Eric's with us from the special ed department, but you got a special needs child that we're projecting to be $40,000 to $50,000 for one person, correct?
We did not have an FY '24.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying, this is where part of the increase come in.
And I'd like to say that Diana Gottschalk's transportation budget, let me go to my notes. From 2023's budget to 2025's budget, it's increased $314,000. And that's including buying an extra bus this year. She holds her budget to a T, only increases it when she absolutely has to. And then the salaries only increase when the board votes in a raise. So we're not out there giving people extra money just because we like them or don't like them. They have to have experience, certificates, degrees, and then we take all of that to payroll, and that's how the salary is calculated. Like Mr. Glover says, if they're 11 months or 12 months, that all also is calculated in.
So somebody with a 12-month contract is gonna make more than a 10-month contract. I want the people who's listening to understand that.
Will you find somebody that's gonna work 12 months or 10 months pay and send them to me? I'll have it, yes, I think I'm talking into hiring.
Well, and on the other end of that, we get some retired teachers that are really bargains, we can probably hire, what, 3 to 5, depending on the situation of what one teacher costs. They just wanna come back, basically give and be a part of something, it's extra income, you know what I mean?
But Mr. Lewis, I'd be glad to look at the bus drivers with you on the expenditure report. And maybe I made a mistake, and I did actually, going back through this budget, I found, assistant principals, I need to add a little bit to an attendance supervisor.
Well, I'm not looking for mistakes. Let me redirect what my thought process is, if anybody else is following what I'm trying to do. This doesn't really explain,
That's what the county asked for, Mr. Lewis, a 3-column, budget.
okay.
The
But
7-column would explain it more, but they asked for a 3-column budget.
well, and for me, and I'm speaking on my behalf, like when you're talking about we just got through talking about bus drivers, okay? When I'm looking at this 3-column, 2023 was 53,446, 2024 to date, or in May, not to date, was 44,895, but then we proposed 70,000, so that's a
And where are you
pretty.
again? I wanna be right with you. What line item?
Well, since you were talking about buses, I just went to the Director of Transportation, it's 72710.
Okay.
So if you follow me across that, the way I'm trying to express this, I'm not questioning your numbers. What I'm saying is, for someone who is not versed in it, and I wasn't at that meeting either, but when you look at that, at 2023, we're at 53,446, 2024 in May, we're at 44,895, but we're giving a 10% raise, so how do you arrive at 70,000, I think is where, you see what I'm saying?
Yes, I agree.
I think that's where confusion falls in line. It does for me too. I mean, just like I asked you, and again, I'm still doing all the talking here. Bus drivers, I just couldn't fathom. I mean, all I've heard, and I'm not being hypercritical of anybody, but, I want our budget to pass. So our employees and things deserve this insurance and they deserve these raises. But I just couldn't, I mean, I about choked when I saw that we'd gone from 304, 192 and we're proposing 605.
That's what was spent through the day that report was run. There's no date on this report, so I'd have to go back to see if payroll for May had been processed yet or not.
So let me ask you a question then, so I'm understanding. What they received was this right here that says through May 2024. So, that number obviously will be higher.
So if I ran this report today, it would run the accurate number for today.
Okay.
So every day this report is run, it updates that middle column. That middle column is constantly changing.
But do you see, and I guess I'm playing devil's advocate here, and again, I promised myself I wasn't gonna do all the talking tonight. Because Tommy says I talk too much. Playing devil's advocate for someone that is not experienced in this with you, I'm not taking up for anybody because when I saw this, I about had a stroke, I'll be honest with you. I'm like, how in the world did we get 605 from 300 and something, and we're proposing it? We haven't hired a bunch of bus drivers. All I've heard is we can't hire bus drivers. So that was one of the lines that kind of leapt out at me. But again, I wasn't here last meeting, so, but other people may be thinking the same thing, if that makes sense. I'm not being
Last year's
critical,
budget, I'm looking back to FY 24 drivers, it showed the middle column being expenditures 287,000, and we asked for 506. That was last year's budget.
Mhm.
So it's always been that way. It's just that now, when everybody's trying to look at the budget and do this, they're not understanding how it works.
that is my point. So,
That's why I'm trying to educate you and the public a little bit with how I calculate this.
well, I mean, and that is my point. So, like, if I've been on this board 6 years, and I pick this up, and I know you do an exceptional job, and I know that Barry is a fantastic manager, there's not a doubt about that. If I pick this up and see that, and it kind of freaks me out, I can imagine those that have not sat on the board and seen this transition go along, that they would be like, what is this, or is that like super padding, or what are you doing, how do you arrive at this? So
I
that's what I'm
have,
saying.
For bus drivers for FY 25, we need $593,000, and I put 605
of padding. It's not much. I mean, you don't know. We don't know.
Which won't be enough if, anything much changes on the bus
No,
route.
it won't be
We'll be
enough.
amending that one.
If you have to add a bus route, you got it right
Yeah, we'll
there.
be amending that one if anything happens. I showed you where the largest amount of money is in that teacher line item.
Yeah.
7116.
Absolutely.
But I'm willing to go through the budget, each and every line item, show you how I got the budget number for FY 25, where y'all can ask questions. I'm Mr. Smith's employee, a Board of Ed employee, I'll do whatever you all ask me to.
I've spent hours looking through this, trying to find anything I can. And spoke to Barry several times. And I mean, there's really only certain things that we can cut, and you've spoken to them earlier, right?
Well, I'm sorry.
There's only certain things that we are able to cut out of this budget,
I tell you,
Correct.
the four things, actual cut, anything else is just fog. I mean,
and that's working on our buildings. which
capital
we're-
outlay, working on your buildings, benefits for the.
Benefits for the
non-certified,
non-certified,
lighting and field work for the two schools.
lighting and field work for the two
10%
schools,
raise for
and the
both.
10% raises.
Any of that you can cut was a true cut.
Everything else in this budget, I can't find anything wrong with.
Now, your lighting is non-reoccurring. You know, it wouldn't be a every year
So
thing.
that's a one-year thing.
Hopefully your buildings. would-
Buildings.
and We're hoping, we're really close on those buildings. We might even come in and not need it, but we took worst case scenario in case we're hoping we don't have to have it, but we could. We just don't know what heating and cooling. There's two, or three pretty good flooring. We got two, or three pretty good items still out there. Those are the four places you can truly cut, right, that are truly cuttable.
Okay, we've got some county commissioners here. What do y'all not understand? I mean, I'm just gonna open it up to you. I mean, I don't like this deal of having to sign in and having so many minutes to talk and having to hold my hand up. I don't like all that. I know that's the procedure y'all go through, and that's fine, but I don't like that. And giving, letting you got 2 minutes left or 1 minute left. I like to have an open discussion. That's what this is all about. Now, you asked some questions. I mean, we got Miss Norman here, we're all here. We will try to work something out. So, if you got questions, give them to me.
One thing I was kinda like Mr. Lewis when I seen it, I was like, it's $8 million more than previous year. So I was like, I thought we was gonna have some more, like, me listening to her, that kind of stuff, and so we can hear it. And I know y'all have not been back since that one day that y'all done the budget. And I've got those notes in here too, it's the same way as it is now, nothing's changed. But one thing I was kept picking up is, like she said, that y'all was running on 31 million. Those extras that we know y'all are doing and can't cut out, as Barry Man said, is 6 million. But yet we're asking for 40. So where would that free, just say if that would help, is that?
It's the same as this year's budget. So FY 24's budget, we proposed $2 million going
Well,
into
I know, and I'm saying, most time when you're saying, well, what was 2022's budget?
Go back and
We'll
say
just say
it.
it was probably give or take, right? So say if you went from 31 to 32.
I'm not saying, I don't know, I didn't
Okay.
bring it.
Well, I don't know neither, I can't remember, but I know it wasn't like $8 million. So I guess as a county, we're looking at the money and how we're gonna sustain this and the longevity. Just looking at it like that, thinking how we're not, we couldn't even raise taxes that much if the budget, school board budget spent $8 million a year. So in my ignorance, that's why I'm trying to learn, if it did spend it, not saying y'all would, but if it did spend it, how can we cover $8 million a year over the next few years without doubling property tax? But I was like, well, what, maybe that 3 million is just in that 12,000 here, 12,000 there, I don't know. And I'm not saying you want to cut them tight, I know you don't, because who would do that, then you're gonna look bad if you come back. One thing I was wondering as a county commissioner, when's the last time that county commission, and the only reason that night I know that we were saying, hey, we need to send showed up, and I know there was conflict, we just kept it anyway because we thought, well, maybe. And I know we had a couple bad things that happened on the board, and we had some vacations and stuff, which, you know how that is, we don't know that till the last minute that we're not doing it, so we were all thinking we were doing it. So, the last time the county commission done it, and if it's an $8 million, I think the school, I hope the school board just realizes that as a county commissioner, we've gotta look at more than just, well, county commission has never looked at this as y'all come and present it. I know she presented it to the budget committee, so I don't want us to think, and there was several of us there that listened, took notes. We didn't talk, we were just like citizens, that day. But, I think that on an $8 million, we need to have some good powwows and like, let her explain it like she has tonight, that'll help some. Maybe have some back and forth, and I'm not saying I don't know, $8 million is a lot, and I guess that's what, me and my simple mind, I'm not near as smart as she is, so I just was trying to figure out if the county commission approves that kind of budget and the school system does spend it, say something happens, Smith County's in trouble on $8 million a year, we can't sustain, I mean, I know y'all can sustain it for 2 years, but that's as far as we go, and we take that, we're at 1.73 on our property tax, is that correct? I think I remember. And if we had to do 8 million, and we do roads, we would have to double or triple property tax to sustain that 8 million. And I know that y'all always come in under, I'm not saying you don't, and I know you never ask the county, but we're just looking, I'm thinking forward. Anyway, I don't know what I'm gonna.
Can I-
That's, nobody, I know me personally, and the other night when everybody talked, nobody is against giving teacher raises, and I know that's just like y'all hear things, and I don't know where some of that stuff gets going, just like I talked to Mr. Lewis, I know, I can hear it in your voice, I know things have been said somewhere, I don't know who says it, or if anybody says it, or people, I don't know what happened.
Well, it was said at the meeting the other night that we just put numbers down in the budget, and that's not true. I mean, that we were not
Well,
gonna.
and I think that's why I'm telling you that it looks like, well, maybe it's fluff, 3 million, a fluff of 12 and 12, y'all have a lot of line items, so it wouldn't take long if we had a few thousand here and there. And I know
But does that help you, Mr. Leash, understand any of it?
it does.
It helps me a little bit.
It helps me, I just don't know how it's sustained.
Well, here's how we're gonna sustain this thing. We have a 5-year plan going into effect, guys. Every March, we meet with the Tennessee School Board Association. We sit right back there in a room, and we come up with a 5-year plan. We've got the Megatronics Lab coming up. That's 2 years out, am I not right?
Here's what,
2 years out for our Megatronics to start. Did anybody listen to the extra funding money we'll get from the state when that kicks in?
Please, I mean, cut you off. Mr. Smith himself stated multiple times in the meeting that we had, the last meeting we had, that he would not in any way budget based on pizza formula or any of that. So if that's what y'all are doing, you're doing exactly what he said he wouldn't do if he was the county commission. And that's what y'all are asking us to do. He said it himself. So I don't understand y'all's budget because I did get a three-layer approach instead of the 7. But if y'all came to the meeting or a meeting, we had a meeting together, and it was explained, and we had it in front of us instead of the way y'all had it, then maybe a lot of them would understand. Maybe a lot of us would understand. But when we're getting,
Maybe that's a novel idea. Maybe we should have done that with the 81 Act.
and
just saying.
Well, no, Randy, since you want to bring that up, I voted to do that, but it didn't pass. So here we are.
let's, you should never base your and I still say that, and I don't think you have, you're just saying that those are good. We know that several things are gonna come, but till I don't spend money till I get it, okay?
Yep.
We know I call it the $50,000 deal, we know there's some money gonna come from that. We know this teacher thing's gonna blow it out of the water, but we don't have it, and the county shouldn't base their funding off what school system. I've told you that repeatedly. I never do that. That should be the other way around. We shouldn't have to have a fund balance so that you can lower your bond rating, but that's the way it is.
Mr. Bass, I'd love to hear what you're trying to say.
Yeah, I was gonna say, earlier, Barry said something about full commission voted it down. The meeting we had was a work session meeting.
I didn't say nothing about voting. What did I say anything about voting?
You said the full commission voted it
I said the full commission meeting voted down, not the full commission body. If I did, I'll take that back.
Full commission
But-
voted to send it back.
The commission voted, but the commission, the body, not, what I was referring to is not the steering committee, not a committee. The full commission met, not, I know several didn't vote. I apologize if that's a
The
miss.
other night, no votes were taken in that meeting.
Well, it was sent back as a full vote.
It was sent back to the Budget and Finance Committee, and the Budget and Finance Committee sent it back to Doc.
Thank you.
Some of the questions I have is $8 million increase in the budget this year. I understand somewhere 4 million is benefits, insurance, and pay raise. I don't think when we talked the other night, we didn't have any problems associated with pay raise or the benefits that we talked about and discussed. But that would be recurring money, so that's gonna be spent every year. So, if that's, Ms. Norman, can you tell me what the?
Yeah, the 10% raise is 2.5, the health insurance is 1.6, and the baseball lots are 700. I've got that at $4.8 million. That's not counting the capital outlay.
That's $3.2 million more money that you put into the budget. Is it one-time money, or is it more than one time, or recurring expenses? That's the one question I have.
Yeah, the raise and the health insurance would be reoccurring. And of course, health insurance is gonna go up every single year. I think it's 5.9% this year. That will be going up. But your baseball lots and your capital outlay should not be reoccurring.
What is that amount?
So the baseball lots were 700,000 and the capital outlay was 650. So if you add 1.35, is that?
What about the save lot building?
The save lot building, we didn't put any extra money in. for
It's
that.
extra money, it's there.
We're only working on the two wellness, centers right now because we'll wait and see if all the ISM, we'll use all the ISM money for the save lot building.
That $600,000 for the save lot, that's not even in the budget.
Well, that for the ISM grant, I'm sorry, that's reimbursable.
Okay.
That, yeah, that is fully reimbursed. We're not putting any extra money like we are with it. I'm sorry. I misunderstood. So there is some money in there for the ISM grant. I have to go back and look at that amount. I'm sorry.
$603,000.
Whatever that amount was, the ISM is fully reimbursable.
Now, that was on 4.7, so it could have changed since then, but that was just.
I have to look, yeah. But the money we're talking about that we're definitely gonna spend that will not be reimbursable is the $650,000 on the wellness center.
We got 4 million, a little over 4 million that's gonna be
4.8 million that we're,
recurring.
no, the reoccurring is salaries. Somebody help me add this up.
It'll be-
2.5 and 1.6, so 4.1 million is reoccurring.
So it leaves $3.9 million extra. Some of that is, you took 1.3,
The 1.3 would be a one-time for the baseball lots and the, yes, the wellness center.
You still got 2.6 million in there.
Yes.
That's, we don't know whether it's recurring, we don't know whether it's one time.
Well, it's the same as it was in the FY24 budget. You had $2 million in there that it showed extra. So again, like Mr. Smith said, we're not doing anything different than what we've done in the past. We've added these extra expenditures to that.
The extra expenditures, the reoccurring ones that they're concerned about, was the findings from the comptroller's office and the raise proposals to get us to that point to where the governor wants us. It's something that the county commission was concerned about.
Well, the findings, the audit has recommended that we, of course,
Yes.
pay the health insurance. But as far as the raise goes, I think the governor's proposed that beginning teacher salary be $50,000 in 26,
27.
27.
26, 27 school year.
And if we do the 10%
Well, those two reoccurring, concerns are things that the commission was concerned about anyway.
Yes.
It was trying to get to be in compliance, I guess. So that money, y'all was good with spending, correct?
And again, the governor should send that money, not the first year, because we're gonna be a little bit ahead of it, but it will come in as the teacher raises increase to fund that.
Another thing, back from experiencing 1998, 99, 2000, this last building program, we asked the school board how much extra money every year they could put into the payment on the plan. They come up with $290-something thousand, $293. That, that's fine, dandy, but the reason they gave because of that is that the state required you to hold a certain percentage of your total budget back for something you had to go over. I asked that question the other night, if anybody knew what it was, I was thinking it was 25% back in 2000.
I think it's 3% now.
3%, and that's not counting capital outlay, you take capital outlay out and do 3% of the rest of the budget.
Well, I was thinking even at 15%, if you go down to 5 million, you're below that point.
At 3%, it put us at $300 and some odd thousand that we would be required to retain. 3% is where we're at now, Mr. Bass.
Well, the county's general fund is 30%. So, we feel like 3%, or I feel like 3% is not enough.
I'm not happy, I don't want to be at 3% either. I mean, a roof or a HVAC unit on 2 buildings go out or something other than we're in a mess.
That was one of my concerns. I asked the other night, somebody told me it was 15.
I've read the TCA code to the law commission, it did say 3%, and I got that from Mr. Lewis.
But I was looking at 15%, at 40 million, that's 6%, $6 million that you needed to surplus.
And I like this back and forth.
Your budget is going to be about 6%.
I like this back and forth, but I'll tell you, Mr. Bass, and I can't speak for everybody on here, but I'm never gonna vote this budget down to where it's 3% left in that fund balance. That's not gonna happen, and I absolutely am not going to. That's treacherous, and it's dangerous for our employees and our infrastructure. I'm not gonna do it. Now, everybody else can echo whatever, but I think that's ludicrous to even consider. Even though the law says 3%, I think that's ludicrous to even consider that.
Well, the thing of it is what you presented though, this year you might get 2, but next year you're gonna be getting that 3%.
You think so, Norma?
I don't think so. I can't guarantee.
If you spend it, if you spend $8 million extra on this year, you bring it down to $5 million, and you spend that $8 million next year, then you're down below.
I mean, if we have a catastrophe and you need to spend the $10 million, we'll have to do it, but we hope to not have a catastrophe of any kind.
Well, and I mean, I understand what Mr. Bass is saying, and again, I'm doing all talking, but, if we're doing this recurring thing, 2 things on that, it would be recurring on what we're doing right now, but there's no guarantee we're gonna give that kind of raise again next year or even propose it, so, if we do this, we've given a pretty similar amount in 2 rounds, so I don't know that would even be on the table, because we've got to manage well, and the other thing is, we may spend that, but then all this funding that we're gonna get right back in should outweigh that if it,
That's still,
But-
money, you don't know.
I understand, and
What I'm getting at though is, like you had 32 million presented this year to spend. You're gonna be hitting that 32 million, or 31 million. So you're gonna be right there at the cutoff. This 4.1 million recurring is gonna be coming in every year above that cutoff. So if you plan on spending 40 million, and you spend 40 million next year, you're at $5 million in surplus. What are you gonna do the following year?
well, I mean, that would be excluding any kind of revenues that we might gain through all these other things.
3 million in the one-time, expenses, you gain that.
Now, don't misunderstand, Mr. Bass, again, I'm doing a lot of talking, anybody can tell me to shut up, or I'll go outside and smoke, it don't matter to me. But no, I want you to ask them, because here's my goal in this. I don't know what our best is, because I haven't been just back and forth. Here's my goal. We need to have an open dialogue, that is what we're doing right now. I didn't know the answer to these right here, I wanna know why we're at $605,000 on buses, I asked that question. We need to be able to have an open dialogue. I mean, just because we wear different hats, that doesn't make anybody enemies. We need to be able to talk, and understand where we're coming and going. Obviously, I've had questions too, but I don't think it's unfair for anybody on the county commission to ask questions either. I don't want us overspending anything, but remember, it can't swear that the government, we're gonna get this check from the state or whatever, and I would love to tell you that. Have we been doing that historically? Yes, sir. But I can't swear that all the trees are gonna bloom come next spring either. All that I can do is project. Now, I'm not gonna lie to you, and I'm not gonna lie to anybody in this room. I'll tell every one of you straight up and down. I've been looking at this thing to cut anywhere I could. That $605,000 stuck out in my mind. If you hadn't been able to explain it, I was asking for $200,000. I mean, I'm just telling you. Because my goal at the end of the day is to see how we can pass our budget, what we can cut, what we can't, and how we can pass our budget with the county commission, feeling good about it and all that stuff, and take care of our employees. And I've used this analogy 100 times. I'm going to say it one more because you and I have not had a conversation. Really what we're doing is we're planting trees, apple trees, with our employees. Now, if you plant an apple tree, and I'm just a country boy, Mr. Bass, you've known me all my life, so I kind of plain spoke, so you have to excuse me for not being quite as eloquent as some people, but I'm just kind of plain spoke. If you plant an apple tree out there and you take care of that apple tree and everything, it's going to yield good fruit. The analogy would be like our teachers and taking good care of them, and hopefully the fruit that they yield will be good students who will move on, be able to get an education, make a difference in the world. At the same time, if we don't care for that apple tree, I promise you the fruit will be rotten, and you know what I mean. Now, I know, that being said, again, I'll repeat myself, I came in here looking to cut anything I can cut. I'm not going to tell you a lie about that, and we're not done yet tonight. But I still won't be able to take care of our employees, because I think that doing so gives our children a chance. And our children are why we have a school system, and I think you agree with that. I mean, I don't think anybody has any malice in here at all about anything. I want this dialogue. I asked for the mayor for the meeting and the Budget Finance Committee. He didn't have to recognize me, but he did. And I asked for it, and then I could not attend. I apologize for that. But, it was my mother, and obviously I wasn't going to do that. And I didn't attend this meeting either. But I think the dialogue is healthy, and it helps understand. So I thank you. That's all I got to say.
Yes, sir. I told you, Hannah, this is not a county commission meeting.
Can we get, all of our emails are out on the internet. Can we get the 7, whatever it is, the 7 phase or whatever, and also the teachers' schedule that y'all see? Could we all get that? That way, when it is talked about, but I'm asking, can you send it to the county commissioners, because sometimes we get stuff and sometimes we don't.
That sounds like an internal.
If you can get it, we'll have to check with legal, may have to block names out.
I'm not asking for names. I'm
I know,
talking
but it
about
makes sense, ours will come
that she's
like that.
one-
I
yeah,
think
right
that's,
there.
Yeah.
I'm just asking, can we?
I think that's public record, I don't think there's. She put that in the last package that we last said over there.
See, Mr. Fields, that's what drives a lot of what we have to do, is because it's based on that scale that you have in your hand, and so it drives what we have to do. Those are things that we can't.
Now, non-certified scales are different,
I understand.
And keep in mind, this is on a 10-month contract, not a 12. We have people that are on 12 that make more than what are listed on here. Okay, I just want you to understand that.
Can we get
I don't think there's, I think that's absolutely, most of that,
the 7,
not that you should have to look it up, I'm not saying that, but I think most of that's posted like different websites, but we can get that, I don't see any issue.
the only reason I'm asking for it is because I think it would be helpful for the commission to see that
We can get that.
and understand it better, understand the budget better.
We'll try to get them to you tomorrow.
You said a million, so if you're sitting there, how do you think that's 10%? See what I'm saying?
Let me make a suggestion. This is not anything to vote on. I'm, like I said, we're all talking. Can we do this, Norma? I don't know whether we can or not, because I know you said there was a 10-day.
I don't know if we'll fall in the 10 day.
Next Monday night, that's the 15th, I think we have to take it back.
That's the 17th.
17th, I have to take it back next Monday night, whatever you all decide.
Well, that won't help me. My suggestion was for you to go back and see if there was any way we could trim this thing and then bring it back to us on Tuesday night and us vote on it, yes or no. But meanwhile, during that time period, you get the county commissioners what they wanna see.
Yeah, but we're meeting before, I'm meeting with them.
That's,
She's gonna have to have something.
right.
So, I'm ready to go through the budget right now and show you
Is-
where there's extra money, if you wanna do that tonight. We can take every line item, and go through the budget tonight. You all tell me, I'm not cutting it.
Right.
I have presented the budget.
Again, I
that
think
feel
the only
comfortable with.
places you can truly save money is cut those sort of things.
Yeah,
The rest of
save.
it's just smoke and mirrors.
Is there anything anybody sees up here that I'm not seeing?
About what?
The budget.
Well, the only thing, we already addressed what I was gonna, the only thing that stood out to me was the yearly insurance. That's actually what I talked to Barry about. I understand the salaries. I first had a concern about the salaries, but I called Mr. Smith and he explained it to me kind of about like this in a nutshell, and I'm like, well, I didn't see it that way, and I was looking at 2023s. I was like adding 22%, that's kind of what I was doing anyway. But the only question I had, and y'all already tried to answer, I know the insurance is paid, you know, you have to write the check like in November, December or something. But it looks like maybe would be more money in the budget next year to cover the end of the year. Looks like we're trying to get a year's worth of insurance payment in this budget. And that's the way we'd probably do it from going forward.
So, if the insurance passes, the coverage will begin in January, but we take it out of the first deduction in December. So you've got 9 months that we'll have to pay the premiums. So, you know, there is 3 months that could be taken out of this budget. For an example, that's $216,000 that could come out of line 207 on that first page. But to be transparent to the county commission, I presented it at full cost, what it will cost in the future. So, yeah, that is a line item that I could lower back to 9 months instead of having 12 months.
I mean, that was mainly my thing.
I wouldn't think that'd be good because, I mean, you're gonna have to rate.
Yeah,
Just go
so,
ahead and put it like you said, as far as.
That was
And what happens to that money that we don't use, that we've budgeted for?
Goes into fund balance, don't it?
Fund
yeah, as long
balance,
as revenue is more than expenditure, it goes into fund balance.
correct.
Yes.
So then, all you really gotta talk about then is, do we come in under budget on these other items? Like, I will not waver on the wellness center. It's a given. I don't care if it costs us a.
It's gonna hurt your
million
funding down
dollars.
the road if you do something.
But maybe, possibly, these ball
Do it any other time.
ball field improvements, maybe?
That's the thing. The raises could be cut, you can go 5 and 5 or not give them. You can cut out the 1.6 in benefits. That's really the 4 things you can really, and I'm not advocating any of them, I'm just saying that's where you can truly save true cuts.
So if let me ask you a question, Mr. Director. What are you recommending on this budget?
Well, unless you're telling us to do something, I'm recommending go with the budget you pass, that's what we done, but if you come back and tell us to do something different, then we'll switch that.
Ms. Norma, you said you had a few cuts that you could save a few money. Do y'all wanna listen to what she's got to say?
Yeah, I do. If it's gonna save,
money's
if it's
better
gonna
than
save some money, I wanna hear what she got to say.
So the first line item we talked about was 71100, 16 teachers. I have $604,285 extra. I need you to tell me.
Which one, which one?
The first one, teachers.
But I don't, that's the one I don't know how you don't,
Well,
that's not a lot of money when you're talking about, we don't know what's gonna walk
I
away.
know, but you need to tell me what to cut on that. That's the first one.
Could you cut $50,000? That's one teacher.
You can, but you're just moving your own money around. That's not going to change. You're not, we're not gonna spend that money if we don't
We
need
don't
the
need
teachers.
So it's gonna roll over in fund balance anyway.
No, we're
The
not.
only basis places you're gonna cut money is what you said.
As far as you truly cutting, because we save every dime of electricity, we operate like, we save every dime of diesel, we save every, guarantee you, it'd be hard to be better than what we do.
Let me, I don't wanna put nobody on the spot, but I have a number in the back of my head. If we submit this budget just like it is, non-changed, we all know, sitting right here, there'll be money going back into fund balance. Correct? Next year, unless a disaster happens.
As long as revenue is more than expenditures, fund balance increase.
Correct. But
All
the
right,
budget
all
you're
right, let me give you an
proposing,
example where you're going. What we budget for diesel? A gallon. Well, we generally, like 1 year it got over $5. We probably budgeted 5, it's probably gonna come in at 283. We don't know that. We could have a year in March that it went, you know what I mean?
In
But if we
2023,
budgeted for
used
that,
Yeah. In 2023, we used $142,000 on diesel.
what do we have budgeted?
I don't know, I have to go find the budget, this is just what we used. And then I proposed 195 this year, so it went from 142 to 195, that's $50,000. So if y'all wanna cut that, I mean, there's areas like that, that if you tell me to cut, I'll cut, and I can go through and show you where all those numbers are.
Well, let me ask you this, Tommy, in concert with that. I think what I'm saying there, that's kind of impersonal. I think what the county commission is wanting to hear is how are we gonna move through this? So, if we cut anything out of this budget, it's still our money. It ain't going anywhere, and we can do a budget amendment and put it back in it if we need it. But if we don't need it, then we have cut what has been presented to them. Am I making sense?
yep.
I think that's what, between the 3-line budget that they saw, which very misleading to me, not misleading intentionally, but I couldn't follow it. It looked like $200,000 jump here and a 40% raise there and this, that, and the other, because I couldn't follow it. And that's nobody's fault but me, but that's what they're seeing. Now, I don't see what's wrong with, drawing back a little bit on this budget. It's staying in our account. If we have to do a budget amendment, we do them all the time, is my understanding, and it's never been denied, so I don't, why, my point is, unless we're right back against the wall, every penny of this is necessary. I don't know why we're budgeting it when we can come back and do an amendment and change it.
Can we do an amendment with this present form of government?
Say it again.
With the present form of government, can we do a budget amendment?
Yes, you can. We have refused 0 budget amendments.
Have you ever been denied an amendment, Ms. Norma? So I guess that's just what I'm saying.
Commissioners vote no, but it passed.
Well, yeah, and I mean, look, and let's just say it like it is, I don't care. I mean, we sit here tonight and we've had yes and no votes on every single topic we've come up with, and I think that the county commission probably gonna react the same way when everything comes. Do y'all vote 100% on anything? Very seldom. But what I'm getting at, Tommy, is maybe that would allow them to exhale a little bit, and then if we see that we need to spend $750,000 on lights, then come back and do a budget amendment and ask for it. But you're talking about nearly $1 million on that one line right there.
but what I don't understand, how does that help when it's our money, or the school system money, I mean, now, if we're trying to fraudulently, I don't like to use that word fraudulently, slip money in and ask for more than what, and save money out, that's wrong. But if you're just moving, you're not accomplishing anything, nothing.
Well, I don't know. It depends on perspective. I would argue that what we're accomplishing is that we've reduced the bottom line of what we're asking to spend, with the hopes of approving pay raises and insurance. And then if we want to do amendment later on and you're doing a great job, which you always do, and teach funding or whatever is going through the roof, and we won't come back and do this $750,000, we do a budget amendment and do it. But in the meantime, has it made the county commission feel like we're trying to be, I don't know what the proper word is, that we're trying to work back and forth harmoniously in a way that makes it where we can pass this budget?
But, yeah, I'll say this nicely. Put ourselves in their seats, sitting over there. And if you're sitting on the county commission and somebody proposes you're gonna spend $8 million this year, they're asking the question. I don't think they got a problem if we spend $8 million. The question I keep hearing is, how you gonna make sure you don't spend $8 million more next year because you're only gonna have $5 or $6 million in here? And that where y'all like coming from? Because if you sit over there and look at that, you're like, $8 million, and 4.1's gonna be reoccurring.
I want us to come, like you said, call back and forth so that we can pass this budget. I don't know how that is, because you can tell by all the talks of the night, I'm afraid it ain't. So the main reason I want to come tonight is see if we can just figure out something so we can get a budget passed, get our teachers raises, get whatever the things that y'all, that's more of y'all, I know, whatever y'all's heart desire, before we know that it's not gonna be like something that we're gonna have to, I always say, raise Miss Mazel's taxes. Miss Mazel here, our seniors can't afford more land taxes.
I'm not gonna vote right
I
now.
don't think y'all would, I don't think it's gonna be that way. I agree with what you're saying. I think that stuff's gonna come in. But what could we do, reduce it now and if it came in? I don't.
But
As far as budget amendments go, guys, every other department or office in the county does budget amendments every year. I mean, across the board, so it would be no different. Y'all do budget amendments every year, right? It's no difference. If y'all got a $40 million budget, you're expecting to bring in $32 million next year, like you're expecting that. But if you bring in 34, 35, that cuts it down to $6 million. And that puts you more, another year or two down the road before you have to worry about where the money's gonna come from. It stays at that level.
yeah, but that's true. And
But you don't know if you're gonna get $3 or $4 million extra funding this year.
we wouldn't probably go in at a $40 million budget next year because we got a lot of projects we're trying to get done.
But you're still looking at, 4.1 million into it.
Reoccurring.
With just reoccurring.
But that was something that the commission was wanting us to do, to get rid of fines. That was something,
That's true.
that was one of the,
That's true.
that was one of the
And
reasons
A
that.
portion of that, because the fine was the insurance.
Mhm,
I'm
And the
not saying,
other
I'm not
part,
against raises in any way, I'm not against y'all's budget anyway. I'm just saying, the fines are only for the insurance, which I
Yeah.
think was.
now the raises would have been a fine as well in the future.
Right.
It's preparing for, it's being proactive.
Right, I agree.
So
If we-
it would have been reoccurring in the near future anyway.
Plus fine, but if we can stay ahead of that curve a little bit, then we
Yes.
avoid all of
And
that.
then, obviously, we'll get more money from the state once the raises start, so. But, so there's $4 million that's a reoccurring, that, one of the reasons the county commission felt like they needed to help oversee this.
Well, I think more so, that $8 million bucket there, you understand, 4.1 comes from the reoccurring. And then you got 3.9 left out there, you said 1.3 and
Yes, sir.
It's closer.
But don't
What's the
forget,
normal historical raise every year on increase? 2% overall? 1%?
She said one.
1 point something?
You have to predict about 1% of step raises every year.
That's just step raises, but that's not the whole. Do you know what the normal historically that we raise the whole budget?
Well, if the board, of course, votes a raise in, we do that, but then the state puts out a mandate, like he said, the end of June, the first of July, after the budget's already prepared, of what the minimum teacher salary will be that year. We don't get that until after the budget is prepared.
that puts us in a remarkably bad set of
Yeah, and we're,
circumstances.
we've been a little bit ahead of that recently, which helps, because then we can plan, accordingly. Yeah,
But we
so-
could, but
And there's no answer there. Some years it's increased at $200, some years it's increased at $1,200. It's
But-
whatever the legislature votes.
But whatever you get, it knocks down that 2.6 million. Am I right or wrong? I
Great.
mean, if they give you $100,000,
Yeah.
you go from 2.6 to 2.5. If you get 1.3 million, it knocks it down to 1.3.
I mean, there's a lot of it's gamble. We don't have the answer either until that.
Is there one question that I can ask you about revenue that you bring in every year? Last 3 or 4 years, what's your revenue that you bring in compared to what you budget?
You're asking revenue only.
Like last year, you,
So I have to go back and look. I'm sorry. I mean, it's gonna be pretty close. I'm sorry, I can't call the numbers off last year. I have to go back and pull that.
Let me kind of word this question.
Okay.
How, have we put a fund balance in for the past, since 2016, every year?
Year it's increased since 2016.
I've been on this board for 20 years, and I'm gonna tell you, 20 years, I've sat there and approved budgets. We started out of a bit, when I got on in 2004, we had, right at the building program, we're finishing up this, we had a pretty good fund balance. And it dwindled and dwindled and dwindled and dwindled, and we balanced our budget. Mr. Lewis and I went back to the county commissioners, we got we got a dime, thank goodness. We was able to receive our growth money all the way up until several years ago. We stopped getting our growth money, okay? But since 2016, 2015 area, instead of us pulling out our fund balance, and we got down to probably, I don't know, we'd have to go back and look, but I'm gonna say probably $3 million, $3.2 million. And then in 2015, we started going the other way. Instead of using our fund balance to fund our budget, we was making money every year. Making money. And all of a sudden, what are we gonna finish out this year at? 13.1 million, roughly, maybe 11.1 million, 12 million.
500,000 is good.
And we was at 11.1,
500,000, I think, on the financial sheet.
11 to 12 million dollars, maybe?
Yeah, well, it's already at 10.9.
Okay,
That is
maybe.
their- yeah.
Somewhere between 12 and 13
And
million
again,
dollars.
I cannot exactly say that, but just prediction.
But it's already at 10.9.
Yes.
That's what you just said.
Audit has defined the end of last year at 10.9. Until audit defines that, I can't tell you what it is.
And you're gonna get school years that you're gonna have to tap way into the fund balance to fund some projects and stuff that you're looking to do that you neglected, I ain't gonna say neglected, but you didn't have means to do a couple years ago. So eventually, you're gonna have to take that big one hit. I'm like Mr. Smith, we can move salary, money, and all stuff around, it's still gonna be there at the end of it. When it's all said and done, you're gonna have it here, or you're gonna have your fund balance. The only things you can cut is the things that Mr., and I didn't realize this till we was talking, that's the only things you can cut. That's it, it's truly save money. Me, myself, I'm sitting here on the board, and I'm like I said, I've been sitting here 20 years. I see us, give us our $40 million budget, let's run it, unless a catastrophe happens. I think we get to do everything we want to do, and I think we turn over another $1.5, $2 million at the end of the year. So we don't use $8 million, we use $6 million, or $6.5 million. I mean, I can't say that, but I'm kind of confident that I think would be $1 million at least, maybe we use 7 million, I don't know. I don't know, because you always budget heavy, every director is always budgeted heavy, everybody does. And you always, at the end of the year, come out with more money than you went, unless a catastrophe happens. Unless something like that happens, I mean, it's something like that. 'Cause there might be more grant money out there that we can come in.
Answer Mr. Bass's question. We almost always receive more revenue than what we predict because of the extra grants we get along through the year. And because I don't overestimate revenue. That's the biggest mistake you can make. I only list what I'm for sure about. So if we get extra, so to answer your question, I would say in the last 5 or 6 years, yes, we have received more revenue than we projected every year. And a lot of that has to do with the supervisors that are going out for those grants, getting us the grant money.
What? I think I got enough. Past 3, 4 years, what do you think we've gotten grant money? 10 million? 3 or 4 years?
No,
More than that?
12, 15.
Okay, I was
Last
conservative.
time I calculated it was 12.
I mean, in 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, 12, 15. That's just a ball, I mean, I didn't figure.
Yeah, it's ballpark. It's
There's-
key
there's-
to have a good grant writer. I don't know why the county don't hire a professional grant writer. Because a professional grant writer will pay for themselves. We got one?
There's a tremendous amount of money out there we're working on right now. We think we can really do some stuff, some campus safety fencing and stuff,
Yeah.
several $100,000. Mulching.
So I know that there was a scare or some comments made to me specifically, that if, the 81 Act happened, y'all would quit writing grants. So that, y'all are saying that that's not gonna stop. Y'all are still gonna write grants.
We're still writing grants, aren't we? We're still writing grants, ain't we, Mr.
And I had several people ask me about that, and that's right, I just wanted to ask.
That's why our supervisors work 11 and 12 months, because they are writing those grants and doing those extra things that you don't see them doing during school year.
Just to let you know, my vote on the budget may be no because something completely different from school board activity.
Because it's all or none, correct? It is all, when the vote comes out on the 24th, it's a county budget as a whole.
It depends if they pull it out. They can pull, each department out if they want to vote on it individually. But at the end of the day, it would be a yes or no, because it ain't gonna go into effect until we'll all be operating off the same.
Just to be transparent, like people in the community are saying, well, what if you get, 10% for this person and 3% for this person? I can try to tell the county commission, all we can do is a yes or no, and that's why I want us to figure out how we work together so that we can pass that, and y'all can work out all how you wanna do your raises. I know that's what y'all are lazy for, you know? But we're lazy to look out for the teachers' money, but also as a taxpayer, we're just afraid that y'all spend $8 million over the next 2 years, you got 10, 1 million, you got 3. And I know some of that, sure, but what if?
Can I say something?
Pass a budget, that doesn't say that, we're not telling you to give a 5% increase, that's up to y'all. It's not up to us, or a 10% increase, that's up to y'all.
I had some of the same questions Mr. Lish brought up, why don't we give 10% to this person, 3%? And I tried to explain to them, and after I explained to them, they understood that. But just going back to this salary study thing here. If we give a 10% to somebody with a bachelor's with 0 degrees, and we give a 3% to somebody with a doctorate at 70,000, or let's just say, let's put it this way, if we give a 10% to everybody under 60,000 and a 3% to everybody over 60,000. So now we have somebody who's making $59,999 gets a 10% raise. Somebody who's got $60,001 gets a 3% raise. So now that person's jumped. So it's equal across the board. That's why we do that. And you can't discriminate against somebody who's worked years and got more degrees than somebody who's just starting. And that's how I explained to them. And I hope the county commission understands that.
Gentlemen? If you do 5 and 5, that's 1.6 million.
1.3.
1.3, 1.3, excuse me, I'm wrong. 1.3 million, if we do a 5 this year and a 5 next year.
But the 5 next year is not guaranteed. Would it be? We can't vote on next year's budget this year, can we?
But you could put it in next year's budget, oppose what we're planning on doing, went that way.
I'm just saying that's 1.3 mil right there.
And you can take, I don't, it don't accomplish anything, but you can take the 400, 500, 600, that's only 1.6, that you know you're not gonna use. I mean, you know you're not gonna use that, it wasn't trying to hit it, that's just what it's gonna hide it, that's what it's gonna be going
It'll
forward, you know what I
increase
mean?
next year, so if I went in and cut the insurance back to 9 months instead of 12 months, it was, I don't know the exact amount of money. I could go through each line item and tell you, but, you're talking about several $100,000 there in savings. But
That's
next year,
2 million you
put back
trim,
in there.
not really trimming it, other than the
We're
rates.
not gonna use it, it's just there.
We're
But-
not asking for y'all not to do the 10% raise. I don't think anybody on the county commission has asked for teachers to get less than 10% raise or not do the insurance. We've not, that's not been said by anyone that I know of. So,
Those are the only places that can be trimmed. So,
Well, we're just asking for some insight of what we need to trim.
Now,
Yeah.
me,
we
one
can't
thing I
outline.
see is if we went from, if we've got 1.2 in project, 2.5 in teachers, 1.6 in benefits, and 700,000, that's about 6 million. We're asking for 40 million, so that shows that there's 3 million in stuff that we're probably gonna need, or that y'all are gonna need, but us in the county, like 12,000 extra in gas and stuff like that, but at 3 billion on that, any line items, it's probably worth, I know that day at the budget, when y'all presented, I thought it looked like maybe 2 million in just extras. And I'm not saying, but I'm just trying to, that was just me and my simple math, trying to figure out, well, would that even help? I don't know, because the fuel lighting, if me as a citizen looks, like Manny says, if y'all work hard, you're gonna spend, you need to spend money back, give back to your kids. Building projects, which is $650,000 for the wellness center, that's 600 for state light, which.
But that's
explain that a
reimbursable,
little,
that's
yeah.
reimbursable.
So, I mean, that's things, and like y'all said in the past, that's stuff that y'all gonna be able to make more money with.
Which, ball field lights are there?
Smith County High School,
Smith County High School.
and then the principals got together and agreed that you get both the same, this is really used for everything down here. They're building a field at Gornsville, they would put that toward construction, they would put in writing, they would ask us for no more money.
So they are gonna build a field according to.
That's what they're wanting to do.
Okay.
But they're wanting to take, with volunteers, they want to take that money, put toward diesel and that kind of thing, but they put in writing, I said, well, what's gonna keep you from asking for lights? Cause they said, we'll put in writing, we'll never ask for no more than what that cost, although they built theirs, we'll build ours.
Will they actually put lights on that field?
They'll raise the money going forward for their lights, and everything.
And it was approached to him and me, both, well, just do the 350,000 for the lights up here, and then maybe later on do for Gornsville, but now, I don't play that kind of game. It's one county. Whatever I do for Gornsville, I'm gonna do for Carthage, whatever I do for Carthage, I'm gonna do for Gornsville. I don't play, we're not gonna get into this magical line across the river. I've never been that way, and I'm not planning on starting today.
I 100% agree with that.
So, I mean, that's just the way I see it. And I told him plainly, whatever we done, if we done 350 up here, they get 350 over there, but as he explained, that will be for their field, their lights, they'll have to work that out
I just
themselves.
didn't, the only reason I asked that question about the lights for them is because I didn't know that they were planning on building the field. It's the only reason I asked.
Yeah,
It makes perfect sense.
yeah, but now, that's the only way I would even agree to it, period, is each one get the same amount of money.
And that's, when I was originally asked, I said they won't be no, but then the principals got together to come back and propose this. That was their ideal.
Anything else, gentlemen? Mr. Bass, anything on your mind, sir? I appreciate hearing you counsel. You've been involved in this a long time.
I appreciate y'all coming and actually talking to us. I mean, I appreciate that.
Spend $8 million more than you're gonna bring in, you're gonna have to talk about something next year.
I wish I could sit here and swear to you that we would bring, I mean, all that I can tell you, Mr. Bass, and you know what I'm about to say, is if we look back at the last 5 years or 6 years or whatever the trend has been, it's increased every year, which I'm saying that. I mean, I've already said to you, I came in here with the intention of cutting this budget too. But a lot of difference between the 3 line that y'all got and I got. You know, I was seeing the 7 line for the first time tonight. The 3 line really disturbed me, and the 3 line is what, or the 3 column is what y'all got. So I mean, I see,
Remember, the 7 column has the 24 budget, and
Yeah.
you see the budget.
absolutely, but they haven't seen it, so I'm seeing what, I've got both. So the 3 column that y'all have really disturbed me as well, you know, when you're talking about a couple 100,000 in buses, and this one looks like it's getting a 25% raise when it, you know, this one looks like it's getting 12, but in actuality, it's not when you get this 7 line. So that's one thing I want, and I know that y'all will receive, and maybe that'd be beneficial because it makes more sense to me on that one as well. But on this one, you know, I know exactly what y'all are worrying about, because I was worried about the same thing when I got here tonight. I'm just gonna be honest with you.
So here's my question, when we go to county finance, let's say we get a grant for $150,000 to buy a school platform, to do something at a school. And we have to spend the money first, and then turn around and ask for reimbursement. So if we don't have any lines where we can spend that money out of, and that is sent to the county finance office, what's going to happen at that point? An amendment before we can spend it.
Kind of probably what we do now anyway.
Grant coming in, you got to spend it out before it comes in. But, you know, you gotta have to spend it out of your surplus that you got.
Will they let us spend it out of surplus? Or will it be a no until we make an amendment?
I believe it'd be a no until the amendment was done, because that's the way everybody else in the county
Yes,
works.
So a grant like that would fail, we failed to get that because of that,
There was a
possibly.
timeline, I don't know, again, I'm just asking. So,
How often do you have a 2-month timeline?
yeah,
I mean,
agreed,
that's-
agreed.
And I think
Not really.
the key is like Mr. Lewis said, I think we just need to start getting around a room more and talking instead of saying, well, I heard this and I heard that. I do too.
And I sat in here 2 or 3 months ago, I was tired of hearing he said, she said, and somebody's aunt and uncle told their nephew. I'm not listening anymore to that mess. I want to see this.
It's like,
I don't want to hear it anymore.
it's kind of like your 5-year plan, you know, outside of y'all knowing the 5-year plan that you have. Us, unless we've talked to one of y'all about it, we don't know anything about it.
You can have it anytime you want it.
That might be a good thing too.
whose fault is it? We're invited to every meeting. I mean, are we supposed to go to each one of you and tell you that?
Well, you know, I come.
I know you do. I mean, we commend you.
You know, I don't.
Junior comes all that. We appreciate him being here. Have we ever treated you like you didn't want you here? If everybody would come, we'd understand what's going on.
Does the county have a 5-year plan?
You know,
I'm asking.
doesn't have a 5-year plan. You used to be on the county commission. You
I did.
Well, I'll be honest with you guys, in 2015, I didn't think we needed a 5-year plan, but I'm glad we got one now. Remember, it's more, who was the one that didn't want to do that retreat?
And I'm asking, does the county not ever go into fund balance when they do their budget?
It's all one time.
But we ended up not,
Yeah, that's true.
I don't believe that we're gonna end up going into fund balance at the end of the year, because revenue is up. Kind of like that. But yes, we did, I believe that we did vote for 1.6, no, it was $600,000 is what we voted to go in fund balance last year, and we did. And
I'm not saying there's anything, because sometimes you have to. I mean, you have to for the business.
Some of it on this grant, get it in and spend it before you get the grants funded.
We've had to do a lot of things like that, investment wise to get.
Just spend it first and then get it.
I feel like a lack of communication, not pointing the finger at anybody. I feel like a lack of communication causes a lot of problems. I mean, in business or marriage or anything else, you know, and I think it's caused some misconceptions here. And I might be wrong, but now when you look at this right here, in comparison to that right there, there's a vast difference. I mean, and again, I've been completely fair and honest in here. I came in here with the intention of cutting all over the place today, because I want to know why we're spending $200,000 on buses, but then when you get over here and look at this 7 line that y'all, or 5 line that y'all don't have, it's not accurate. So, how can you,
Monday night.
pardon me?
We'll all be there Monday night. And Miss Norma, Barry, and whoever, all y'all.
I can
Come
attend,
Monday night.
thank you for asking, I can attend them now. We were not after last time, we can attend them now. It was just cold when it was.
Well, if y'all can attend Monday night, please, that way, there may be other questions asked, and then they can ask them. And
Can you be there Monday night?
We're gonna communicate.
Okay.
But
We need to communicate.
But we've got to send,
Present something Monday night?
I don't know.
I don't know.
because see, we haven't,
The budget was supposed to, how was it said, for the budget and finance to, should be posted 10 days before.
My understanding, it was posted. And then there,
But I think a lot of it comes down to like what Mr. Lewis said, like what I've talked to y'all several. Let's just get our heads around it. No feathers fly, and if it does.
I'm not doing that.
Don't let it, we got enough big old boys.
I'm not gonna do that.
Let's just talk about it. Let's figure out. So my biggest fear is what is gonna happen if we keep going back and forth and we can't pass the budget?
we're gonna be operating on last year.
Everybody loses and y'all can't get what y'all want and then we gotta start over and.
Listen, everybody loses, and some of these people out here that are single parents, raising children, don't have any insurance. And I know the marketplace is out there, but, you know, some of our line items don't pay enough for them to get insurance on the marketplace, and y'all know that. I mean, say something, Joe. I mean, you've had somebody already come to you this time, and
I had some EAs to tell me if they didn't have overdraft privileges at the bank, they couldn't make it.
so, I mean, we've got to give that insurance, y'all. They've got to live. I mean, that's,
Be there Monday night.
Yeah. I should.
yeah, I'll be there. I'll be there. Yes, sir.
Gentlemen,
5 o'clock.
Yeah.
You know what time it is?
you don't know. I understand.
But we got a deadline. Let's not forget, we've got to give them a response, a 10-day deadline on this thing too, on what we're going to propose.
So
So-
my concern is if there's any changes made in the It's gonna take me several days. It has to be like that one line item that I showed you, I have to recalculate and re-enter. So as long as you all understand that I can't.
But we can
push
still,
buttons.
we can still get the county, if they decide to cut what we projected, that approximate amount.
Guys, our meeting is the 24th, or commission as a whole, it's on the 24th. There's a budget finance committee meeting on the 17th at 5 o'clock at the tournament.
Junior, I think their issue is the legalities. We've got a 10-day window that we've gotta get something submitted back, so.
Right. I say y'all submit whatever y'all decide tonight.
That's what I'm saying. I think you're gonna have to decide something tonight.
That way there's questions.
And both sides know it's not, you don't have the but be an approximation. Or nothing, I mean, but it's either way, I think you've gotta give us a plan to send back to them.
Monday night is, the budget finance committee is Monday night at 5 o'clock at the tournament.
Is that a full commission or just a?
That's just the budget finance committee. I would ask that y'all come to both meetings.
I'll be out of town on the second. I'll be out of town from the 21st to the 30th.
21st through 30th, okay.
I mean, we come, well, I'm not gonna speculate.
I'll tell you what, Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion that we send this budget, leave it alone and send it back.
I second.
Got a motion second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Let's go back to new business. Let's go back to business that we've tabled.
What'd we table? I'm so far
Okay,
behind now on what we've done.
Getting your money, $1,000, is
That's
$1,000.
not my money, it's whoever gets stuck on this thing.
Okay, we tabled this a while ago on the, board member appointed. And that depends on who it is, whether it's Lewis is serving right now, it could be, Mr. Manning 2 weeks from now, it just depends.
I made a motion and it failed.
And you made a motion and it failed. So we're gonna go back to this thing again and open it back up for discussion. It was said, the discussions were, I said, you know, we'll do 100, that didn't go anywhere. Then we decided to do 50,
But you was at 100 a month.
100 a month, and then
And we was
50
50
was
a meeting.
per meeting.
He said 100 a month if there's one meeting or 3 meetings.
Right, and then, they said then was $50, like the county does. Now, y'all correct me if I'm wrong on this now, I'm gonna ask you say it's $50 per meeting or $50 a month? Every time,
Per meeting.
per meeting, every time you meet,
Per committee meeting, and it's 125 per commission as a whole.
okay, commission as a whole is 125, and then your committee meetings is 50. And that includes the finance and everything, okay? Now, but mine was to do 100
And
a month.
And the second-
But back it up to start it when they started this finance department.
I've been serving on that since January
I was-
16th.
I was thinking we ought to keep it the same and pay them the $50. Now, we need to back it up
Yeah.
where we started.
Right,
Pay it 50 per meeting, it's the same as the county commissioners make.
right.
That was my,
It's only fair that if county commissioners are getting paid $50, that's what we pay our people too.
Every meeting.
Same.
Now, Mr. Smith.
I wanna say this, I don't care if it's Mr. Lewis or Bart Jones. I don't think people understand. I wanna make sure the time and the cost, and I'm not advocating for myself, obviously, but there's a lot of time and
I
you're
mean,
just.
make it
kinda-
clear, cause you're getting ready to appoint a new member to that committee, cause I'm gonna step down. Cause I've got hundreds of hours in
I don't
this and I
think people
ain't doing.
understand. It is.
So
Would you say
y'all
this?
understand what you're doing,
Are you
who's
putting-
gonna take it for $50, cause Scotty's fixed to step off the boat. I've been doing this since January 16th for 0, hundreds of hours, so I'm not arguing about how much money, and I mean, I actually, just to get all of y'all, try to get on one page, at one point in time, I sent you an email and said I would do it for $1.
Yep, you did.
But nobody in here can agree on anything, so Sky gonna step off the boat. I've lost time of a mother that's gone now, with my family that I'm not gonna lose again, and my phone blowing up sideways every day. So, pick you one for $50 and you can have it.
Even though some of those meetings, we get in there, they last 7 minutes, guys, your whole night is wasted. Your whole, I mean,
Right.
I don't care, and I don't mean this to sound as disrespectful as it's coming out of my mouth. I don't care what anybody else makes. But I really think it ought to be, and I have no dog in it, but I'd fight the same for,
I'm just saying,
we
ain't,
don't understand, you don't understand the time. it goes into that.
somebody else throw the boat for a while and see how they like it and all that stuff.
Mr. Fields, yes.
Yeah, at some point, those meetings will go back to nothing, so do it per meeting, I don't care what y'all pay per meeting, but doing it per meeting makes more sense than $100 a month, because at some point, when they don't have a meeting, if you do it by month, you're gonna be paying somebody $100 for it.
So, for the lack of sounding greedy, which I'm not, because I did send you that email, that said
Yes, sir.
I'd do it for $1. We've been kicking this thing since January 16th, right? Okay, so I'm submitting my resignation right now. Y'all get ready to pick you a new board member to go. And then you rock it for about 6, 7 months, and your phone ringing off hook, and see how much fun you're having with it, because I'm done. No hard feelings.
Do I have a motion on what? Does somebody want to pay on this?
I'll make the motion, we pay $50 a meeting.
I'll second.
Have a motion and second. Any more discussion? If not, Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Apple?
Yes.
Doug? No. Mr. Manning?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Myself, yes.
I mean, I guess, can I vote since I just resigned?
Yeah, all right. So, well, no, we not officially pulled you, no, you don't need to vote, because the reason, it won't be official till the next board meeting that we accept your resignation.
Okay, well, then I guess I'm forced to abstain.
So, got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it passed, we got 5 votes, so that passes, $50 per meeting. All right, next thing, we tabled another.
Now, are we back paying Mr. Brooks?
Yeah,
Yeah, he
yeah,
needs to get it
yeah,
done.
he's
That wasn't in the
still,
motion.
he is still, that, till next Tuesday night, you're still on that, so you get back paid from tonight back, $50 per meeting. So, does everybody understand that completely? Okay. Now, back to discussions on a possible appointment for a legal representative for Smith County Board of Education. We've had, Jones, but you weren't here, I'll try to back up on it a little bit, I tried to explain this other to you. We are looking at hiring, a person to, because, like I say, Mr. Winkler has quit. And that, Mr. Glover brought it up, he'd like to put it out and advertise it till next Tuesday. I think we've
Just
got
give
a bit of
opportunity.
time, is that correct?
It would be legal if that's,
I'm just, yeah, legal is what I'm talking about. To advertise it till next Tuesday. Ms. Moore has showed that she's interested in the job and that, we could put it out and then next Tuesday, if she's the only one that applies, and she has, then we'll vote to hire Ms. Moore.
Absolutely.
Now-
I don't think they should want it if it wasn't done the right way.
Right.
I mean,
So,
Question,
yes, sir.
all right, let's say that, I'm gonna play devil's advocate, I've done it all night long, and I used to do this in school, I told you that, so. Everybody remember, did you call the Tennessee School Board Association?
I have called.
Okay, did they have any attorneys here that they recommended?
They
that we-
recommend one out of Sevierville.
Yeah, we don't need anybody in Sevierville. But everybody remember, we have no attorney. We've got no attorney. And this one has shown up to represent us with experience on the school board. So everybody just remember that. I'm not a favor of, what happens if we have three that show up? And again, y'all know me, I've always been for hiring home folk and everything else, but we're in a mess, boys. What happens if we have three show up and we do interviews on three people and blah, 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 and it drags on, and we still have no attorney while this is happening? I mean, like he said, you think you're gonna get the grant money, but you may not. We think maybe nothing won't happen, but what if it does and we don't have an attorney? Because right now, this minute, we do not have one.
What is policy or law on, no attorney? Can we appoint one until we
You
have
can
a hire?
appoint one because it's considered, like an architect, it's considered professional services.
So we appoint one
You
until
could
the hire.
appoint one tonight, you could appoint one, you can do
Make
it
a
like
motion.
Mr. Glover, it's your choice, how you wanna do
If
it.
you'll accept it, make a motion.
Yeah, I mean, if we can appoint one, until that,
Temporarily.
until temporary
next
appointment
Tuesday night.
until the way that needs to be done, to be advertised and everything out.
But good advertising, but,
Accept
if you will put in your motion, we will hire, if there's 10 attorneys show up here next Tuesday night, and we interview 10, we will hire a person next Tuesday night,
How are we,
if you'll put that in your motion.
You're saying-
how are we gonna fund that?
Full-time. Other words, next Tuesday night, we hire an attorney, full-time next Tuesday night. But
That agreeable, but that,
you can put it in the motion that we can appoint Ms. Moore as our acting attorney till next Tuesday.
Or you could just make a
If you would, Ms. Moore, would you accept that?
Do what? I mean, I've tried, I already tried to.
Would I accept the temporary appointment? Is that what you're asking?
Well.
Yes,
I
ma'am,
mean,
would you
if I-
accept
Tuesday night.
till next Tuesday night as a temporary lawyer for the Board, Smith County Board of Education? Then on Tuesday night, if you're the only person that has applied for this position, we will hire you full-time.
Or could we put that in there, she wouldn't need to, we need to go ahead and interview whoever that night. I mean, I don't think you're gonna have a ton, put their name in if any.
Right.
Or
That
just
way,
don't,
You won't wanna make her keep going on and on, yes or no?
listen, just
No,
don't,
we're gonna hire a person
Don't
Tuesday
do it
night.
that way.
Yeah, we will hire a person
But what I'm
Tuesday
saying, we're
night.
gonna have something scheduled in there, a block, or you just gonna take resumes, you're gonna interview, or?
Yes, ma'am.
please do.
Yes, ma'am.
And I appreciate you all very much, having me tonight, and I've been here trying to figure out what's going on, anticipating this change in leadership with Mr. Winkler's resignation. I do, and I know you all do a good job. I've had the opportunity of working with most of you. Some of you, Joe and Tommy, 8 years, I served with them. Some of you, I've served 4 years. David, I served a long time with David and Scotty, six years, something like that.
4,
I know
5,
you all
something.
wanna do the things the right way, I want them done the right way, that's the way it was when I was a board member. The only hesitation that I have at all would be, without criteria of what you're looking for, you could have whoever show up here. And without the criteria, that's unfair to the attorney that's accepting the job, and you all don't have criteria that you set forth anywhere for anybody to know what, is it number of years of practice, is it, where they're licensed to practice, and whether it's, just state court, or is it federal court, or is it the US Supreme Court, like I mean, I don't know what you want, and I don't think anybody else would know either, that's the only hesitation. I mean, to answer your question, Mr. Shoulders, I will serve in whatever capacity you all would like me to serve in for as long as you want me to. Whether that's from now till Tuesday, or for, the next 50 years, whatever, I'll do whatever you want.
I hope we don't need you the next Tuesday.
Well, I hope I'm not working these years. I hope I can retire.
You gonna put all that in the motion?
Yeah, I was taking it all in.
Yeah, there's a lot to that.
I guess the motion, would need to, of course, the motion being temporarily appointment, Mr. Moore, until we hired, a lawyer, attorney. And we don't know that anything can happen between now and next Tuesday. So if I make that motion, next Tuesday comes and we can't meet, then we don't have a lawyer again. So in my opinion, she needs to be hired temporary until we can hire a permanent lawyer.
Okay, that's
Is
fine.
that, in our criteria, we could apply
Right.
at that time.
That's better.
Yeah, yeah, that would be,
I make a motion that we hire Ms. Moore for temporary attorney until we can hire a permanent lawyer.
Second with just a question. I'll make a second, but I have one question. Are you okay with that?
Are you sure? Just one question?
Yeah, I want to know if she's okay with that, because I've been going through
6
since
months from
January,
now.
so I don't want it happening to her.
Well, I mean, yes, I mean, I'm okay with whatever you all want. It will impact my practice. You know, as far as I will need to balance my caseload, and that's gonna have an impact, but I'm not, like I said, I will do whatever you all need me to do.
Okay.
I mean, if that's the only way you can get, that we can get you, I'll hold that second. But,
I've got a
Second.
question. I got a
Discussion.
question. What would be the financial compensation for this temporary?
we got it in our budget right now.
I know, but what is that for a
He's
week's
line item.
attorney
It's so much, it's on so much.
or 2 week?
Per hour for his contract.
So
And I will be glad to do whatever Jamie's terms were, if it will help you all.
that's,
Okay.
that's all I wanted to know.
Okay, that's good enough, so.
Just make sure we had an amount, that's what I'm
Amount,
saying.
right, yeah, I
So-
understand, like, you know, right. We
Whatever
might,
was paying Jamie.
yeah, right, so.
If you work a whole lot, I need to know before next board meeting, so I can amend the budget.
Any more discussion on it? Okay, let's do a roll call. Mr. Glover?
Yes.
Mr. Manning?
Yes.
Mr. Taylor?
Yes.
Mr. Apple?
Yes. Yes.
Lewis?
Yes.
Yes, unanimous. Now, my next item on the agenda is, do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
No. I just like saying,
Yeah,
I think you got outvoted.
huh?
You got outvoted.
I mean, that ain't the first time. Good to see you, brother. How's everything going?
Running. I was trying to get here, but